What do you do with the low performers on your team in order to make them better performers? Hi, folks. It's Kirk Langford, General Manager, and I'm here to share some practical leadership tips with you. So, if you think of the people on your team as sort of being on a pendulum, you've got the low performers over here, all right, and you got the high performers over here, and then you've got some folks in the middle as well. And everyone's always kind of swinging back and forth one or the other way based on how motivated they are, how much you're engaging with them, how interested they are in the work, and a lot of other factors. So imagine you have a team of 20. You're going to have a few low performers, probably 1 to 3. You're going to have a few high performers, probably about 2 to 4. And then the rest are going to be in the middle, about 13 to 17. So in our most recent blog post, Building High Performing Teams in Manufacturing, we talk a little bit about all three of these. But for this post, I want to talk a little bit about what we do with those low performers. How do we get them to perform even better? The first thing you have to do in order to move some of those low performers to being middle or even high performers is actually believe that it's possible. As a leader, people will live both up but also down to your expectations. So if you believe that they're just lazy, no good, they don't care, they don't want to be there, they're not motivated, nothing will get them going, then at the end of the day, nothing will. So you need to first believe that it's possible to motivate them. Second, you want to focus on things that they're doing well as much as possible. You want to give them some praise for the pieces that are working. At the same time, you don't want to ignore the negative behavior or whatever it is that's causing them to be a low performer. You need to address it. In a lot of cases, it's simply that as a leader, you haven't set the expectations or you haven't provided the feedback in order for them to do better. In a constructive, supportive way, tell them what's not working and how they can do a better job. Now, keep in mind, this isn't a one-shot thing. It's not a one-trick pony. Just because you give them advice once or feedback once, it doesn't mean that they're going to come in the next day completely different people. You've got to be realistic that change takes time. So if you really want to see someone's attitude and behaviors change, you've got to be willing to continue to build on positives and continue to give feedback, even if it's several or a ton of times over the course of a few weeks, a few months, or even longer than that. So you got to stick with it. You got to be persistent. But in doing so, that feedback will eventually start to pay off, and you should see some behavior and attitude change in that lower performer, moving them into a middle or high performer. Last thing I'll mention when it comes to low performers, you don't want to spend a disproportionate amount of time trying to push those low performers into middle or high performers. You actually want to spend a fair bit of time with the middle and high performers and then watch those low performers kind of try to meet that expectation as you raise the bar. That's it for today. Like and follow for more practical leadership tips.